Hey everyone, Power Stroke Maintenance here, and today we're going to be talking about the maintenance items that I did at 100,000 miles because the truck just got over 100K. If you're new to the channel, this Power Stroke Maintenance channel is all about maintenance. I have a truck that I purchased used at about 49,000 miles, and my goal is to take it up to 1,000,000 miles by replacing whatever stuff needs replaced in the meantime. So definitely subscribe. I am going to be doing monthly updates on what I do for maintenance, modifications, and the miles I drive. I'm an action sports filmmaker, so I do a lot of miles. I travel all over the United States and do between 30 and 40,000 miles a year of driving. So the truck gets used quite a bit, and I do tow cars with it. I haul a lot of gear, a lot of heavy tools. So certainly follow along if you are interested in this sort of thing. So as promised, today I'm going to be talking about on this truck, this 2019 F250, the maintenance items I did at 100,000 miles. There is a very specific methodology I'm following. I will link to the video below, but I follow PTT with A-Rod and his maintenance recommendations in terms of maintenance intervals for all of my stuff. So if you want to know where I derive this information from, go watch A-Rod's video. I will put a link to it below. First maintenance item that I am doing on my truck at 100,000 miles is the front and rear differential fluid. Now, I've had several subscribers comment that they do their differentials sooner than that. I think 100K is probably the minimum. So I actually did a lot of my 100,000 mile items at 90K because I knew I was going to be traveling around the country this summer, and so I didn't think I'd potentially have time to do them right at 100K. So I should say do your front and rear differential at 100K or sooner. In terms of how you're running the truck, you know, the frequency with which you do this is up to you, right? I wouldn't go over 100K, but if you're towing a lot, if you're running the truck and driving it super far distances, or if you're in a lot of stop and go traffic where you're making your differentials work really hard, or if you're having to go off-road and use your four-wheel drive a lot, definitely do the differentials sooner than 100K. The next thing that you're really going to want to do is change both your transmission and transfer case fluid. So the transfer case has a separate fluid reservoir than the transmission that will need to be changed. It does run the same fluid as your Ford transmission, but if you have the 2019 and you're running the 6R140 transmission, you probably should have already changed the transmission fluid. I do mine every 60K and then do the transfer case every 100K. I think now that I'm on the every 60K transmission fluid change, I'll probably just do the transfer case at the same time. It also goes without saying that you should be checking all of your belts and hoses. So after 100,000 miles, you know, check your radiator hose, check your serpentine belt, look for cracks. Make sure there's not any abnormal wear that would cause that part to fail, because after 100,000 miles, chances are that part has become pretty old, and if it's motorcraft, probably needs replaced. Now, this one is one I've gotten criticized a little bit for, but again, it's taken from PTT with A-Rod's recommendations. Change your serpentine belt every 100K. Now, you may be able to get a little bit more out of it, maybe 20 to 30,000 miles more after 100K if there's no cracks in it, but you should be changing it regularly because it's turning around the pulleys and revolving thousands, millions of times over, 100,000 miles, and that's gonna wear. And so if you wanna keep your vehicle for a long time, you should definitely replace the serpentine belt and potentially your thermostat if you feel that you've been running the truck and been very stressful on it. Like if you've been towing super heavy and running the truck hot, and if you notice any abnormal temperature fluctuations, you should definitely replace the thermostat preemptively rather than waiting for it to fail completely and your vehicle to overheat. And then lastly, the few things I'm doing at 100K which you could look at and check when you're underneath your truck is steering components, ball joints, suspension, like your shocks, anything that is a wear part that you would potentially need to replace. So I've already replaced my shocks. I warranted my steering components through Ford. And now at 100K, I'm actually replacing the Motorcraft ball joints with some aftermarket ball joints by this company called Kryptonite. They're greasable. So I am really trying to cover all of the potential failure points of my front end at 100K with the hope that, you know, I will be able to get a lot more miles than that on this kind of next maintenance interval iteration that I'll be on. Okay, and I think it goes without saying that you should be changing your oil, changing your coolant, doing the basic maintenance things like air filters and cabin air filters and all that other stuff that's wear parts before 100,000 miles, or if an issue presents itself. And I typically subscribe to the methodology that you should look underneath your truck regularly. I have a video on that where I talk about the problems that I intercepted before my warranty expired, and the only reason I saw them was because I was crawling around underneath my truck. So get yourself a pry bar, get underneath your truck, pry on stuff, shake stuff, see if it's moving in a way it shouldn't be, and then if you have a warranty, take it to the dealer and tell them, hey, you should fix that, because that's what you paid for, is that having that warranty and having that truck. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I appreciate you guys watching. Drop a comment below and let me know if there's any items that I missed that you think are essential 100K maintenance items. But otherwise, we'll see you next time. Cheers.